Greetings and welcome to the November edition of The Place to Be Oshkosh. I'm your host, John Neiman with COTS. I want to thank you for joining us for this show. I don't know where the time has gone, that we're already in November. And so this is our Thanksgiving show too. And you'll meet our guest in the second segment, but this is a chance to say thank you to all those people and groups and individuals who make a difference in our community. And so I always start out by thanking the person who makes this show responsible or on the air for us, and that would be COTS, is our monetary sponsor. I could not do this without them. I appreciate their support, letting me do this show, but also helping financially with the show. And also besides COTS, we have Oshkosh Herald and Karen, a wonderful community newspaper. If you want to know what's going on, read the Oshkosh Herald. So many pictures, so many things about our youth, so many good stories. And then set design. Our set design is by Brian at UBloom. And when our crew pans out, you're going to see the wonderful, beautiful set that we do have here. And I just have a note from Brian too. I know we're in November, but on November 25th is his Christmas open house at UBloom, and you won't want to miss it. You will get so many great ideas and deals, and he just has the best decor. So put that on your calendar. UBloom on Witzel, 1125 is their Christmas open house. Where can you watch us? You can watch us right on Oshkosh Media Life TV Channel 2. Also, you can go to YouTube and just put Oshkosh Media in, and you can see all of our shows and all the wonderful shows on Oshkosh Media. Also, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, and Apple TV. Just going to do some updates talking about shopping. The State Street Center. If you're not familiar with the State Street Center, it's on State Street. It used to be the Oshkosh Bagosh building, very close to the library. And they're a wonderful place for people to drop in. It's a drop-in center where they offer yoga, meditation, art classes for people with mental health issues or who are recovering addicts. It's a great place, but they're also having their craft fair, and their fall craft fair is on November 15th from 11 till 2. I have gone there and I have purchased the most unique, wonderful items, and it supports a great cause. So State Street Center was a place for you to go. Also talking about Thanksgiving in November, we always pick our favorite foods at Thanksgiving to eat. We always have more than enough at the table. It's a chance also for you, if you'd like to, help out COTS. We have a pantry. We have a dry goods pantry. We have refrigerators. We have groups that come in and make full meals for us that we can serve to our residents. All of our residents work, whether it's first shift, second shift, or third shift. So to come home to a prepared meal is wonderful. But we also have groups that just bring in desserts. Or we have groups that make a main dish and we can freeze it. Or groups that donate pizza. Or groups that donate staples to our pantry. It's staples like peanut butter and jelly, because all of our guys, pack lunches and take them to work. So if you're interested in any of those opportunities, making a meal for us or providing staples for us, please, my information's on the screen right now. My personal cell phone, 920-279-9873. We really would appreciate it, your support. We are a not-for-profit. We don't accept government funding. And our community has been overly generous with us, including my next guest after the break, who started a little library for us at COTS, so our men have their own library. So it really does take a village to make everything work together, and COTS and Oshkosh is very, very grateful for your support. Thank you. We're going to take a commercial break, and then we'll be back with our guest for our November edition of The Place to Be Oshkosh. back, and our guest, I'm going to let her introduce herself. She's been a guest here before, but she's so interesting, and she does such wonderful work in our communities. So, Sandy from the library, what's your official title?
Well, thank you, John. Happy to see you on Thanksgiving holiday month. My official title is Community Engagement Librarian. I've been at the Oshkosh Library for about 7 years, but this role has only existed for about 3 years. I always see the library as being a conversation between an institution that has resources and the community in which it serves. And there's no way to really have a conversation unless you put somebody out to hear what the community is saying. So my whole job, like yours, is to be a community listener. Where are things happening? Where are gaps in the community? How can we bring something from this table and something from this table together to create something better for our community? So I get to be kind of that liaison.
So how did that role develop? Was it talked about for a while and somebody finally made the decision, or?
It's a thing that is happening in the library world. Often when you put a lot of librarians in a room, well, they know what to do and they have these grand ideas, which is great. That's how libraries work. But in recent times, the idea of a library has been more, we don't give something to the community, we leverage what's happening in the community. And once you flip that switch, we are the vehicle to help incubate the change as opposed to foisting the change. So that is where that communication and that outward looking works. Also, prior to the last 10 years or so, the idea of a library has really changed. For a long time, we were the receptacle to get movies if you missed them in the theater, a place to listen to an entire album if you liked the one you heard on the radio, to read that book in your book club. Now there's Audible, there's Netflix, things are streaming to you all the time. So we needed to pivot how we worked and how we were positioned in the community to stay engaged with the community. And that's why it's happening kind of across the country. And that's why I'm really happy Oshkosh picked up on that.
And and that is really true, which I never thought about. As I mentioned earlier, my daughter-in-law is a librarian in Sun Prairie, and I used to always kid her too and say, well, I don't need to get a book from the library because I can read it on my Kindle and all this. And she proved me wrong too, that, as you said, their library in Sun Prairie is so engaged in the community, offering something all year round, different things that you would never think of, all related to books, but so different. So I'm so happy that Oshkosh is doing this. And for some reason, I think your personality just lends itself very well to this.
Well, how lovely of you. Thank you.
Because sometimes when you think of librarians, you think of the ones going, shh, and they're kind of quiet and they know everything about books, but they're not that engaged. They're engaged in the library, but not with the people. And you are completely different, which I think would bring people to the library.
That's so nice of you. My mom used to always say I was too loud to be a librarian. But I really think libraries are supposed to be a loud place. What can't you get on your smartphone or your tablet or your TV now is that sense of community. I can talk to people in China, but do I know my neighbors from 2 blocks away? We used to have coffee shops, and you would have conversation circles, and we would talk to people in our buildings. And as I think our society has progressed, we've become everything can be found on these devices. Where can you just hang out with somebody else and talk about crochet? At a library, you're both in the stacks. The library can have a DIY program for people who like to craft. Let's create that community. And I'm not just making a craft, I'm making a friend. I'm making a connection. I'm networking. So a library is not a place for books, it's a place for people who enjoy books. And that person really needs to be front and center, I think, in most positive library environments.
And all the stuff came to my mind as you're talking about that. Like when I used to go to the libraries to do research, and you had the encyclopedias and all that, you always had the librarians helping you out and telling you which book, and then people would huddle together at the tables and talk about it. But you're right, that's missing when you're using your phone or you're at home and doing it. That's how true that really is.
One of my favorite library memories, we did a program on cheeses. I don't know if you know this, but Wisconsin has the only master's program in cheese making in the nation. And it's right in Madison. If you get a hold of the director, he'll tell you that his daughter went to UWO, so he was in town all the time. We coordinated a program. 8 people came to try cheese. All 8 of them left and went to Oblio's afterwards. So we're creating that community of everybody has something that they're interested in, that they could learn a little bit more about. Why not bring people together over cheese? And that is what a library can do, I think, and that's why a position like mine, having that focus of what are we doing for the people besides just information, we're creating those networks, and that's really important, to me at least.
Let's talk about, so what are some of the outreach programs that you have, or the places that you go to? Because
Thank you.
We started that last time when you were on, and we never really got into it because time got away from us, of course. But you're out in the community.
And if I can start this with, I can come anywhere where people are. So I would hope that the people who are watching this think of their sphere of influence. Maybe you have a church group. Bring the library out there and find out really those questions of what we can do for you, how we can help you, how we can make the library important in your life. Being the community engagement librarian, the big thing I get to do is home delivery. The library doesn't live in downtown, the physical building does, but we still want you to use those resources. So we have a home delivery program where volunteers will bring out a book to you, will bring out puzzles to you. It can be as specific as, I heard this on the news last night and I want this book, put it on hold for me, and we'll bring it out, to every month I want a bag of 6 books and maybe I read 4, but at least I have the option. That agency of escapism, leisure time, exploring other worlds, all of that is really important. And if we can take down the physical barrier of getting to the building, well then we're really helping those in our community who still need that. I also started these things called card clinics, and that's what I did with you a while back. I go to the community pantry, the 20th Street Y, Evergreen, and most of the senior facilities now. Before the pandemic, I also went to 4 Imprint because there are people who spend their whole time on databases there. We have a whole collection of e-resources that you could be getting from the library with your library card to listen while you're doing your database work. So if the library comes to you during your 9 to 5, it's easier for you to use the library. You can get a card at a card clinic. We can set you up with those e-resources. I can find out a little bit about you and find out what resources we have or services that might fit for you that you might not even know. A lot of people know libraries have books.
Right.
They don't know that you can get a bus pass there. They don't know that we have free notary there. They don't know that we have scanning capabilities there. So those are those fine one-to-one conversations we can have. It's not throwing everything at you. It's finding out what you need and how we fit into it.
I didn't know any of that. Oshkosh is my hometown. Lived here my whole life. So if somebody doesn't want to go to the city transit, they can come to you and buy a bus pass.
At any of the service desks.
Really? And that would make it so much easier. Wow. Okay.
We have longer hours. We're open on the weekend. You can come in at 8 o'clock when I think the transit closes at 5. So we have that service because we know that there was a cutoff for people that needed it. If they had to use the bus to get to their job, they don't have time to also get back. We can offer that service. And that came from somebody saying, this is hard for me. And once we find out that that's a community pain point, well, how can we make that easier? We can have somewhere a city entity, we can also sell them. So that's how those services come back and reflect what the community needs.
And I find that so amazing because the homeless population, they live on the bus passes, either to get to work, to get to the library, to get to do something. And so if they can't get one at St. Vinny's on the last Monday of the month, then I try to purchase them or have the tokens there too, because we hear that too. Like to go to St. Vinny's is the last Monday of the month, starts at 9. But if you can't make it there to get one, you don't get one.
Right. And how many people that need one are available at 9 in the morning on that last day?
And if you're working, you can't get one. Wow. The whole show was worth it just just to know that,
Yeah.
to know that is, and I think the last time we talked to you, talked about charging stations.
We have a couple charging stations. Thank you for that. You're running around or you're experiencing homelessness or you're at work and you've been listening to things all day and you don't have a place to plug in your phone or your device to charge it. How hard is it to live in society now without a charge device? Everything is go to the website, fill out this form online. We're going to charge you if you come to the bank and talk to a person. Do it online. That can run out your battery really quickly. So we have places where you can come in, charge them for free, sit at a chair next to it, pick up a magazine, and use that time effectively to get what you want done there. You're not there to read the magazine. You're there to charge your phone, but we have something for you to do while you're staying your time there. We also have Chromebooks that you can use. Now, I'm sure most people know that we have desktop stations, so you can come in and with your library card you get a free hour of internet.
It's an hour, okay.
And let's say that you have 5 minutes left and you maybe have one more page of a form. You can come to the desk and we can extend that. So that's something that we can work with because if you're not on a computer every day, sometimes those forms can take a long time.
No, you're right.
And that's frustrating. So come and let us know and we can work with you. We also have Chromebooks that you can check out just for being in the building. So maybe you really need to get a presentation done. Your kids are home from school and you can't get anything done there. We have study rooms. Come check out a laptop, go into a study room, and it gives you that solace and that quiet place to be able to get your work done. Again, sometimes a very important need in the community. You're at a busy job, you're on the bus, you're staying at a shelter or in a 2-bedroom apartment with 6 people. I just need an hour and a room that's mine. And that's another service the library can offer.
Wow. So it really is the community.
Absolutely.
You know, and I do always remember that the library, when I was growing up, we had 2 libraries. There was one near I went to Grace Church in school, and there was one right on Oregon Street.
Yeah.
And then it turned into a Boys and Girls Club, and now I don't know what it is, but I loved it. People did exactly what you were saying. They were so kind and so helpful. And I think after COVID changed so much of that people were looking for the personal touch and they just couldn't get it, and now you're bringing it back.
We're trying to, and that is why we have been actively placing ourselves out in the community. That 20th Street Y is, I believe, 3.5 miles from downtown. And when I'm out there and I'm talking to people and they say, why are you out here? Well, because you're not coming to us. So we need to show you that we're doing our part and we're coming out to you. We can pick up your holds and bring them out to you. So we're going to meet you halfway. Between pre-pandemic and post-pandemic, a lot of people got used to having things delivered to their house. And once you become comfortable with comfort, it's hard to make people roll that back.
Right.
And when you ask the question, why do they have to? You come up with, maybe they don't. Maybe we can become a little bit more personalized in that drop-off, Uber Eats sort of society that we now live in. So let's flex and change instead of forcing people to come back to the way things were before.
Now, I think we need to talk about geology because
Isn't that exciting?
yes, because Scott did so much work to get the slides on the screen. I'd hate to have us run out of time and then we're going, uh-oh. So talk to me about what's going on.
One of the coolest things about working in a public library is that we get opportunities to host events and experiences that the people in the community might not ever have before. So one of the great things that we're going to be offering right now, if you come to the library, is a genealogy display from the Virtual Museum of Genealogy Traveling Exhibit. So it's going to have highlights include mineral specimens from around the world, fakes and laboratory altered minerals and fossils from the Paleozoic, Mesozoic, and Cenozoic times. You wouldn't be able to find that in town unless the library was the intermediary that brought it to experience. So please come by. It's a drop-in whenever we're open in the building. You can come by and see these wonderful geodes.
Wow.
They're going to be on the 2nd floor.
Okay. So is the library involved with all of the setup and everything, or is that done by the the
The
company?
traveling exhibit for this
They do-
specifically is they do the
They
setup.
do it. Okay.
But those display cases stay in the library. That's where they live. So
Oh.
let's say that you're somebody who lives in the community and you have a collection of 125 Mexican ceramic birds. Sometimes the best thing about having a collection is sharing it with the community.
That's
We've
right.
had somebody that had duck decoys, and they connected with the library and said, as a community member, I want to share this. And that is another thing that the library can do.
And I bet you that brought more men
Absolutely.
into the library. How fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I know once I worked at the Pain Arts Center a long time ago, and the educator wanted a kid's collection. And so one of my sons brought his wrestling collection.
Stop it!
His wrestling collection
That
in there.
is fantastic.
But they had all these kids' collections, and it just got, like you said, fellowship and talking about stuff. That is so...
And if you have a collection, you're proud of it, aren't
Yes,
you?
and Evergreen does that. You've been
They
to Evergreen.
do.
Evergreen features their residents' collections, and it's so neat to see what people collect.
And if I'm interested in cars or wrestling, there's going to be somebody else in the community that is too.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm finding my people, the ones that also like the cheese and want to go talk about it at the bar
sorry
afterwards.
I missed that one because I think that is
It was
amazing.
called Heavens to Cheeses. It was the hoot.
Oh my gosh! Wow.
We had the, I'm going to say 2017 Cheddar World Taste Test that would have been $50 an ounce for you to buy. We all got to taste it. Somebody might have taken it home afterwards because it was so good.
Oh my gosh! So are those book clubs still going on? I know there was some wine and
And if you go to OshkoshPublicLibrary.org, you'll see something on a banner that just says events. Click on there.
Okay.
And then you can filter those events for just kid events, adult events, teen events. So if you look for our adult events, you'll see that we host at least 2 community book clubs. We have an online book club. We had in October a book club that met at Planet Perk. We also have book club sets because we want to encourage other community enclaves that enjoy reading to support their own social network.
Okay.
So you can decide as a group that you're going to read this one book, and we'll have a bag with 10 copies in it for you, questions for you. So it's a grab and go sort of thing, and all you have to do is enjoy the book, the conversation, and the wine that you have at your neighbor's house.
And what I think is neat about that is you mentioned churches before, and churches have been suffering because of COVID.
Mm-hmm.
People weren't coming, they were afraid of COVID. And also some churches are looking for activities. What a resource you are that a church could do their book club, their ladies guild could do their book club, or a men's guild. That is really
And
neat.
the library can be as engaged or unengaged as you want. Again, maybe you want somebody that can give you a little backstory on the importance of that book. We can offer that. Maybe you just want us to offer the books. We can do that. So we are the resource to help you in your agency for what you want to see in the community.
Okay. Well, now, are there any other slides we need to talk about? Because we're just going to keep talking.
I know we are. I think that we're good.
Are we good? So if Scott says we're good, we've talked about that. But I think a lot of people just don't realize, well, like you said, in this information age where everything's at your fingertips, they don't realize what the library can do and what you need to do.
In December, we are bringing back our chess club. Now, if you remember about 3 or 4 years ago, before the pandemic, we had chess club. And there were people who worked at the library who were in their 20s who got the job, John, because they remembered coming in at 13 and learning how to play chess. So when you offer that community building, that learning, that place where that can happen, and we're bringing it back Thursdays from 5 to 7. So if you have a grandpa who wants to learn chess, if you are a 7-year-old who just wants to find out how to play, if you like to play and don't have your best friend in town anymore, come down and support that community of chess players.
See, now, that brings back such memories, because when I was growing up, people did it in schools or churches or the Boys
Absolutely.
and Girls Club.
Yeah.
And it is a lost art now, isn't it? Because where else would they where else would you learn it or play it?
One of the most iconic things to me in New York is those parks that have those chess tables up.
Yes.
And people can just sit down and you start talking about chess, but you learn about that other person and you walk away knowing that person a little bit better.
Yeah.
And you get to have fun with it. So I think that we need to foster play in all forms. And chess is a great way to do that.
Plus, you have such a beautiful building. I mean, the dome. I mean, it's just, what a wonderful place to be in.
And I hope after we're done with this, you can come by, because for the holidays, so after the 25th of November, we're going to have up a whole bunch of twinkly lights in that dome. Imagine that dome as kind of a magical winter twinkly wonderland. So we're going to take the harsh overhead lights down. We're going to put up a whole bunch of Christmas lights, and we're just going to offer it as a place to play chess, to read books, to get away from the hustle and bustle of the holidays, to come take your Christmas picture if you want. Just to sit in a space collectively that really shows the magic of the season. So come by and check it out. I'm super excited about it.
Oh my gosh, it's going to take a lot of work, I bet, but
absolutely. But our community is worth it, and isn't the holiday season such a magical time? And lights make everything just a little bit more twinkly and hopeful. So,
and like you said, I mean, there's a celebration of lights at Menominee Park where you can take the kids through, and it's a lot of busyness. But sometimes you just want to sit somewhere and just enjoy, like you said, the peace, the quiet, contemplate the season. Well, now this is the Thanksgiving show. So, do you want to talk about things that you're thankful for?
I am thankful for this platform, John, and for you. I'm thankful for you seeing a need in the community of letting people know what's happening in this community. We all have our own little pet projects, but you keep all of them kind of on the even keel, so I really appreciate that. I also appreciate just Oshkosh as a community. They are engaged. They want to be a part of something, and they're very proud of Oshkosh. So to be a part of that and to reflect that, I am super thankful for. And also, I like the coziness of the season. November and December just says,
yes. And it makes everybody's happy, everybody's joyful. And I do want to reiterate what Sandy said. Oshkosh is a very giving community. And a lot of time there are donors out there that are giving a lot and they don't want the recognition, they don't want the attention. They just do it because that's who they are. And so, and I think your personality lends itself so well to what you're doing also because you can engage people to come into the library who maybe never been there before. My daughter-in-law always has on her thing, do you have a library card? Show me your library card. That's one of the biggest things to do, how easy it is to get a library card. But thankfulness, and that's what this show was about. I'm thankful that we met.
Absolutely.
And I'm thankful for all that you do. And I'm thankful for the Oshkosh Media crew who makes this show possible. I'm thankful for the black curtains behind me because they make me look thin. So Thanksgiving is such a wonderful time. Thank you all so very much for joining us. I can't wait to see our December edition of The Place to Be Oshkosh, but I'm wishing you all a very blessed November and a wonderful Thanksgiving. Thank you.